Right, so it's another hot sunny day in Los Angeles. Let's go and see some places. Right, so I found somewhere to park near. Damn, it's windy. Right, so I found somewhere to park, Tesla behind me, and I'm just heading up on a bit of a hike today. Quite a lot of uphill walking. Getting quite tired right now. It's quite hot out today as well. Very hot. Maybe you can guess where I am. There's a lot of hikers going up and down here, but Jesus, I'm a little bit out of my league. Right, so I've climbed probably about 1,000 foot from where I parked the car. A lot harder than I thought it would be. Probably about halfway up. The behind the scenes vlog, because this is so difficult. I've never had anything so steep in my life. There's some of it, and I've done about probably 90% of it already. But over there is the Hollywood sign, is over there. That over there is the Gwyneth Observatory. Now people usually go there and view the Hollywood sign small in the background, but I'm coming in off route over the mountains to get it from behind. Just so in case you didn't hear that, over there is in the far distance is the Gwyneth Observatory. That's where a lot of tourists, if they go in Google Earth, would find the Hollywood sign over there. I'm going up the trail. I'm basically going up the mountain behind it, completely off-road, and hiking my way up. So I end up coming in behind the mountain and behind the Hollywood sign. Look how high up! Look how high up I am! Look how high up I am! So far I've climbed that height from street level all the way up the mountain. Right, so I've got to, not quite the top, but more or less most of the worst bits over, and it's nearly killed me. 100 times harder than I thought it'd be. You want to see the view behind me? I'm still climbing, and I'm about a mile away from where I'm trying to get to. Take two. So I'm still climbing, and I'm about a mile away from where I'm trying to get to. Half a mile. Half a mile. Half a mile. So I found a spot in the shade to rest for a minute. Apparently I'm about 5 or 10 minutes walk away from the sign. Damn it. Apparently I'm about 5 or 10 minutes walk away from where I am heading. Yeah. Getting there. Apparently I'm about 5 or 10 minutes away from where I'm going. Apparently I'm about 5 or 10 minutes away from where I'm going. And I am sweating buckets here. It's so hot. Ugh. Moving onwards. Right, I think I'm through the worst part. After about 2.5 hours of rock climbing, because that's really what it was. After about 2.5 hours of rock climbing, which is essentially what it was, I found a nice flat bit of path where I can move a little quicker. Oh, there's still a few rocks, but slowly getting there. So this is my surroundings. Right, so I've made it to the Hollywood side. So I'm not going to reveal it in the main bit, but I'm doing extra bits and pieces so I can do like videos behind the scenes later. But,
yeah.
Right. So on my little trek up this mountain, what's your name, guys?
Tristan Chopper.
Tristan Chopper.
And I'm Justin.
Justin. Right. Yeah. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Right. A little bit further to go, and then I'm there. Right, so I made it to the top of this rather large hill, and I'm knackered, so I'm just going to sit back and relax. Okay, end of take. So I'm trekking back over the mountain on at least a 1 hour walk down. So I'm trekking over the mountain now on quite a long trip back. Most of it's downhill, but the terrain is terrible for most of it. You want to see where I am? I might deploy the drone. Give us 1 second. Okay, so I've done it. I'm really here. This is the Aileen Getty Ridge Trail. So it's getting dark. So the sun's going to set in the next half hour or so, and within an hour it's probably going to be dark. So I better get cracking, because I don't want to be up here in the dark, because the snakes will come out. There are rattlesnakes up here, I'm not kidding. Right, so I'm on the descent down the mountain, and the sun's going down, and what a beautiful view behind me. We're in golden hour, which is when the hour before sunset, and look at it. It just looks so amazing. I would say it's worth the climb, but that was difficult. That was very difficult. I would say it was worth the climb, but that was very difficult. Bloody difficult. But yeah, this is the view behind me. Sunset, and I'm in the Hollywood Hills. Made it before dark. Aha. Take two. So glad to see the car. Oh, I made it. I'm back in the car. That was both awesome and insane. Give me a minute to catch up with myself and I'll recap. Okay, let me just zoom in. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. Right, so if you put into Google Earth for the Hollywood sign, I know that it takes you to the Griffin Observatory, which is nowhere near the sign. You see it, but it's small in the background. Now, I obviously want to get up behind it. So I went one route, but everywhere you go, no parking, not allowed to park, residential streets, and they're really strict on it because they don't want the tourists. So I found another place. I quickly got on. So I literally got on Bing and found another place, and I had to drive 5 miles all the way around the mountains, and I got to this street here which has parking. It actually says parking and lets you park. I haven't got a ticket. Brilliant. There's a trail up there that leads up eventually to the sign, and difficulty is an understatement. You're going up and it's getting steeper, and you've got rocks. You're almost rock climbing. My hands are filthy, and the terrain is insane. I mean, there are rattlesnakes up there. I didn't see any, but there are potential for that, and I don't know, scorpions and things. But so I went up with 2 bottles of water, and I very quickly ran out. By the time I got 3/4 of the way to the sign, I was down to about that much water, and I would have been fine, but I was having to ration it out. So eventually I got to the top, and then I had to work my way all the way across getting to the sign, and it took me about 3 hours. The terrain is insane. I mean, there are some parts where you have to literally climb rocks, and you're sort of on the side of the mountain almost. And some parts are just a nice bit of trail, but that's more up the top. There are some parts you're literally climbing like rocks and going down big steep embankments. It's not for the average tourist. So I met a lot of hikers on the way up there, and one of them had, and as I got near the sign, one of them had too much water. I think he was getting sick of carrying it, so he gave me a 3/4 of this of water, and that absolutely helped, because the weather today was so hot. It was ridiculous, and I haven't put sun cream on. I don't have any, so I'm probably going to be burnt tomorrow. So let's recap. I went to a road earlier, but there's no parking, all where the residents live. They don't want people here. So I drove 5 miles around the mountain to this road where you're allowed to park, which is brilliant. So up from here there's a trail, but its difficulty is an understatement. I literally, some parts you're climbing rocks, some parts you're going down steep embankments, and you've got cliff edges, and it's absolutely insane. It's not for the average tourist. It took me over 3 hours to do it, and eventually I got there, and it took me about 2 hours to get back just before nightfall. Now I took 2 bottles of water along, but I ran out very quickly. I had about that much left, and I was starting to ration it out. Spoke to a few hikers, and one of them nearer the sign, he said, well, you know, you can have this, because he had like 2 of these on him, and I think he was just getting sick of carrying it. But this was like 3/4 full, and it was a godsend. It really helped, because the weather today was hot, and I haven't had sun cream on because I haven't got any, so I might be burnt tomorrow. Yeah, it's not until I was on the way back that I realised that I was actually, there's a few trails up there, but this was the nearest to me parking, way near, and there's a few trails to get there, but from here there's only one, and this is where I parked. I didn't realise until I was on the way back that is the most advanced one, and all the people on the trail are very much, you know, like in LA, the most, you know, 6-packs and the most athletic people. So you got this guy from England here who has no experience at all in hiking or climbing or anything, and it took me longer than them, but I did it. So that's an achievement, I suppose. I can say that I've summited Mount Lee, got to the Hollywood sign, and did it on the expert route. Awesome. So I completely underestimated how difficult the route is going to be, and the silly thing is I have about another 10 or 11 bottles of this in the boot, 10 or 11 bottles of this in the trunk. So had I not underestimated the route, I should have took a few more bottles with me. But now I'm back, I can waste water and use the bottle to wash my hands. So you probably find the water in this bottle is tap water, which the locals would be okay with, but it might make me ill. but I didn't care. I was so relieved to have a proper drink up there and not rationing. But if I get ill in the next couple of days, so be it. I'll live. Right, so I'm going to head back to the Airbnb now. So the Tesla's going to do most of the driving. So that should make my life easier, at least for tonight. Right, I'm back at the Airbnb. The Tesla did a really good job at getting me back here. So I'm going to have a shower now because I am filthy from climbing rocks and walking trails and just literally scaling that mountain all day.